All right, so today I actually want to crack a couple of boxes open and kind of talk about the set because Aetherdrift has been out for a little while now, and unfortunately, it looks like it's kind of taken a nosedive as far as prices go with the boxes. So I figured I got a couple boxes. Oh, actually, I got a bunch of boxes laying around, but I figure let's crack some open, have a little fun, just for myself, really. We can actually see what's in here. So the nice thing is we start off with these box toppers, which are always nice. It was funny because I can't tell you how many times I've heard them referred to as the pea yellow as opposed to the gold, um, border box toppers. But I think they're still pretty cool. They kind of grew on me a little bit, but let's just see kind of how they go first of all. Swamp and a perilous snare for my box toppers. Okay, nothing crazy. We'll put those aside. But yeah, it's funny. Like when this set first came out, like I gotta say first of all, as far as like the car theme goes. I'm not a car guy. I've never have been a car guy. Never really been interested in cars. Nice gear hook for your mythic right there. Borderless Commander. Then we get the Rider. There are a few uncommons to look for. They're not in this pack though. I'm not a car guy, so as far as like the theme of the set, it was never anything that I was really interested in. To be perfectly honest with you, my view of cars is it's a mode of transportation to get you from point A to point B. I don't care what color it is. I don't care what it looks like as long as it does the job when I turn the key and it actually starts and gets me to where I gotta go. Oh, awesome Verge. The Verge Langers are holding pretty strong. I think some of them are as much as like $8. I think some are as down as like 4. One of those Commander Doonyard foil, Hazaret, and any of the fancy uncommons. Nope. But it's funny because this set was so hyped before it came out. I think the boxes hit as high as about 280 for a collector box, in that range, 285, something like that. Plus tax, you're talking over 300. Well, there you go. There you go. Look at that. Beautiful showcase. The Salvation Engine in English, too. They have these in English and Japanese, obviously. But English is very nice. Definitely a little more valuable than the Japanese counterpart. Borderless Mythic. We got the Loot, the Borderless Guide Light, Borderless Commander, Ifnir, and your foil Rex. None of the fancy pants uncommons. But now I just looked on TCG Player. What's today? Today's April 7th, Monday, April 7th. So the set's been out for a little bit. And right now they are with shipping, they're 185 plus tax. That's basically what they're going for. Borderless foil wrappings, borderless unstoppable plan. Nice. Borderless glide car. I thought that binary code was actually like a crib for a second there. Borderless Commander Aethykite, your foil Merfolk, and let's see. None of the fancy pants uncommons. But yeah, it looks like the set has dropped. I mean, more than $100 in value or in cost since release. And I gotta imagine right now it's probably pretty much at its low. Borderless foil World Wagon. We got the Borderless Rider, Showcase Ox, Borderless Commander Trailblazer, the foil, Spectacular Pile. Love the pile up. Very nice. Nope, none of the uncommons. So yeah, it's kind of interesting now because I've actually got a lot of these for my Whatnot show. It's something that we crack open a little here, a little there. The problem is, I think right now it's like the value in the actual singles of the sets. Borderless wrappings with the Showcase Heavy, Borderless Commander Scarab, and your foil wrappings. Let's see, none of the uncommons that we're looking for. The Marauding Mako is one of them, and then I always get the blue one wrong. It's like, what's the blue one called? Stock Up. Yeah, Marauding Mako and Stock Up, the uncommons we're looking for. But yeah, so basically the set, like this highest win on pre-release is about 186 plus tax. So again, I'm sorry, 286 plus tax, so over 300. Borderless Foil Unstoppable Plan, Borderless Racer. We got the Thrill Roller, Borderless Commander Crossing, Radiant. And let's see, Marauding Mako. Nope, no fancy pants uncommons. But looking at the MTG visualizer, there's I think one big reason why this set is kind of dipping. And again, it's because of the singles. So when you look at the actual singles in the set, there's a Mythic Mimeoplasm right there. Nice Verge, we take those. Again, Borderless Commander Amplifier, and another Verge. There, two Verge pack, we'll take it. The biggest two hits in the set right now are the Aether Spark and the Ketramos, the New Dawn. So those are the two big ones in the set. They're pushing around $30 or so, give or take, and I think that's for the base copies. Problem is right after that, it takes a hard dive down to about like $9 for base copies of cards. Oh, nice. Monument to Endurance. Again, I think base copies like this, like $8 or something like that. So the Borderless Foil is probably a little more. So not bad. The Radiant, the Borderless Engine, Borderless Foil Commander Mechanic, and your Chariots. Nope, no big uncommons. 3 packs left in this box. But the biggest thing I think which hurt this set a lot was the fact that the Radiant Lotus, it's a Lotus and it completely tanked in value. Borderless Foil Alacria, nice. Borderless Bay, Showcase Engineer, the Borderless Commander Gold, and your foil Caster. The problem is when you have a name like a Lotus that everyone thinks is going to be a phenomenal thing. Let me move this back a little bit. And it turns out that it's just a very specific card for a very specific deck. I think that kind of like kills it. Beautiful Gearhulk. Very nice. The Riptide Gearhulk. Borderless Foil Mythic. I'll always take those. Full Throttle. I threw this in my Wolverine deck, and I haven't drawn it yet, but I think that'll be a nice game ender. Borderless Host, the Borderless Commander Automaton, the Foil Walker. None of the uncommons. Last pack of the first box. Get that out of there. So, yeah, it's tough when you see a card with the name Lotus just absolutely get shit on. And it's not that it's a bad card. I think it's just a very deck-specific card. Nice monument right there. We'll take that. Borderless Fabricator, Borderless Mythic Commander Creator, and the Foil March to the World Ooze for your Foil Mythic. None of the two Fancy Pants uncommon. So, I mean, first box, my old Dave Portnoy score here. No Ketramos, no Aether Spark. I'll give it like a 5.1. A few Verges, some Gearhulks, some things like that. A couple of Monuments, that was nice, but I'll give it a 5.1. So I'll be a little critical on that one. Box number 2. I'm just going to do 2 of these for the set while I talk about it. But I still think the set's cool, but the problem is I think it has too many vibes of like a non-Magic set. And, you know, we've seen that with Murders at Karlov Manor, kind of like Streets in the New Capenna, things like that. And definitely Outlaws at Thunder Junction. And this has that other feel to it, like it's not quite a Magic set. Mountain and your Samut the Driving Force for my gold P foil, as people would say anyways nowadays. There were gold foils and people liked the set. Now it's P yellow. But either way, box number 2, let's see. The Godseeker for the Borderless Foil Mythic. Nice. Borderless Feast Showcase Mascot. Borderless Commander Nissa, like that one. And another Gearhulk. I think a few of the Gearhulks are pretty good. The Bright Glass, Riptide are pretty decent. Some of them kind of dropped pretty decently. I was trying to throw 1 in my Wolverine deck, but I don't think it's not going to do as much as I would want it to do. So, but yeah, I mean, when you have these sets that just don't feel like Magic sets, it kind of hurts it a lot, I think, too. You know, unless you have some serious value that can keep the set from going down, I think it's just going to suffer ultimately. None of the fancy uncommons yet. You know, Tarkir Dragonstorm's coming out right now, and everyone's, you know, all about that, which that set is absolutely incredible. I think I've opened 17 boxes so far of Tarkir Dragonstorm on my Whatnot channel, and I absolutely love it. Oh, there we go. Speaking of Lotus. So again, on release, this was probably like a $30 or $40 hit. Absolutely crazy. And now I think it's like $6 for a borderless copy. And the big thing too, I think, is, like I said, it's not like it's a Lotus. You can use it as a Black Lotus in any deck. It's very set specific. So, I mean, if you're doing a deck with a lot of tokens, a lot of food tokens or clue tokens or treasures or something like that, and you can turn every single one into a Black Lotus without actually sacrificing a Radiant Lotus, it can make for a big change in the deck. Hey, and a Verge right there. That's a great pack. If you got that pack on pre-release, like you were psyched. But now it probably didn't even cover the cost of the pack. I love the art in the set. I think it's incredible. I love the showcase versions. Special guest foil, Chandra's Ignition. I always forget about special guests, then they pop up. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Those are there. Borderless Imperiosaur, nice. A lot of Verges. Borderless Commander Gold and the Sunmare. A lot of these showcase versions, I'll show it when I pull up another one. For anyone that's from like the 90s that listened to like a lot of like ska or punk rock from like the 90s, there's a band called the Voodoo Glow Skulls, and I always remember right here. It reminds me of like the Voodoo Glow Skulls from like the 90s. If anyone is old like me and knows bands like that back in the day, the art that they use, it kind of reminds me of that. That's what I think of. Samut the Driving Force, Borderless Chariot, Borderless Commander Omnitool, and another Samut right there. None of the uncommons we're looking for. I think that stock up is actually up just like $6 for like an uncommon or something like that. It's pretty good. Well, we got a Lotus, which is nice. I'd love to see an Aether Spark. I mean, of course, I'd love to see a serialized card. That would be a nice surprise. Raceway, I think this card's fantastic. You know, for a card, it comes in, you know, and you can tap it for mana right away, just as colors, but it can, you know, if you get the max speed, which is 4, you can get basically that Ancient Tomb feel out of it without the damage. I mean, I don't see much of a drawback. When the set first came out, I was like, you know what, I feel like that's almost like a staple in some decks. In a lot of decks, just because like it can tap for 1, it doesn't hurt you, and you might get like basically the Ancient Tomb effect out of it. But I don't know, it doesn't quite feel that way. Again, I think it might be very deck specific. Borderless Foil, Emerald Radiant. Nice Verge, a lot of Verges, that's nice. I'll take those. Borderless Engine, Borderless Commander Dunyard, and the Foil Bloodghast. I'll always take the rare lands. They are great lands, especially I think they're good now. They're between what, like $4 and $8 for some of them, depending on what the combination of colors is. But I think in time, as like standard rotates and different things happen, it might be a big change. Kind of like Murders at Karlov Manor did. Borderless Imperiosaur for the foil, the Sea Scourge for the little Shark Pirate, Borderless Junker, Borderless Foil Commander Mythic, Radiant Creator, and the Foil Raceway. As standard rotates, that's the big thing when you see happen is because like Murders at Karlov Manor again was a trash set. I remember when Karlov dropped down to like 130, 135 a collector box because everyone hated it. And I remember I was probably the only one people buying it. And borderless foil shark, nice. Another Verge. We'll take it. The Engineer, Borderless Commander Amplifier, and Glory's Past. And no one was buying it, but I was stocking up on Karlov for a while just because I thought it was still a good deal. I thought the lands were good, and there's a chance at serialized cards, which I still haven't pulled yet. But I think we might have the same feel with Aetherdrift down the road as years kind of come and as time goes by. Standard rotates out, Verge lands become the main land, and all of a sudden people are going to want to open these things. Beautiful. Was that the same one I had before? Oh, I didn't put it aside. Damn it. I didn't put it aside. Top of my head, I can't think of what it is. Nope, sorry. Top of my head, can't think of what it is. But nice. Ketchum. Oh, there we go. Finally, Ketchumos the New Dawn. Third to last pack. Borderless Mythic. Again, that and the Aether Spark. 30 plus for base copies. This is probably 30 plus, whatever it is. So very nice. Good value there. The Merfolk, Borderless Commander Mentor, and the Foil Quag Feast. No fancy pants uncommons. 2 more to go. So yeah, I think it's one of those things where it doesn't feel like a Magic set. It's it's a weird car theme. I love the art though. I think it's just going to be one of those things where in the meantime, it's kind of like a down set. Spectacular pile up. Nice. Like that. Borderless Commander Flagship. I'm sorry, Borderless Mythic Flagship. Borderless Commander Trailblazer. Foil Verge again, lots of Verges. So yeah, I think this is one of those things where it's dropping in price. Again, I think the lowest in TCG Player right now is 185 shipped, not including tax. So again, you can probably call it just shy of 200, whatever it is. It's a good deal. I think it's a good time to start stocking up on things like this. Nibble on them, grab some for the long term, hold on to them. Borderless Foil, Willow Rush Verge, beautiful. We got the Borderless Radiant, Borderless Host. We get the Borderless Commander, Ifnar, and the Monument. So I did get one, lots of Verges. I did get one of the Ketchumos. No Aether Sparks, kind of sucks. I was hoping to get one. When it comes to sets like this, with the serialized cards, I always say don't rip them for the serialized cards, but if you get some while you're doing it, it's just a nice bonus, you hope to get some of the value back from opening packs and things like that. Honestly, the Verges I got, I was pretty happy with. But anyways, my opinion is it's the set's down. It's just, no one's paying attention to it right now. Everyone's focused on Dragonstorm, Dragonstorm. They're actually pushing like $400 a box right now in pre-sale when it's coming out in about 4 days. And then obviously 2 months from now, we have Final Fantasy coming out. So I think it's like one of those Murders at Karlov Manor situations where it's like, well, we're moving on to the next set. We're kind of forgetting about this one. So I think you're going to, for a little while, see Aetherdrift just kind of drip down and kind of like be kind of lame and stagnant for a while, but that's not a bad thing to scoop in and grab some boxes cheap if you want to hold them for long term or rip them just for a fun set, because I think especially as standard rotates and moves on and new sets come out, there will be synergies and the metas will change. So don't sleep on it. I still think it's a cool set. It's just not the hot thing right now.